I'm going to hit *1 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Prince. I'm with the Accelops Cloud team, and we're excited to share this presentation with you guys today. We've been hearing a lot of feedback from our clients, and as a result, we've been working hard at Accelops to build some new offerings that we know that a lot of our clients are going to be very excited about, and that's what this presentation today is really all about, is introducing those things to you. A couple of quick housekeeping items. Your phones are all muted, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. We'd be happy to take questions, although we want to do that at the end of the session. We've got a Q&A at the end. But what you can do in the meantime, if you have a question, and this is for any time throughout the presentation, in the Q&A box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, feel free to submit the question, and then at the end we'll go through those and answer any questions that any of you have. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So on the agenda today, what we're going to go through is, first of all, talking about really the difference between tools and solutions, and then we're going to talk about the resource challenge that we hear from many of our clients and some of the industry challenges that are out there. We're going to talk about some of the new options that you as Accelops clients have, and then we're going to talk about what those solutions are in depth, and then finally end with that Q&A session that I was telling you about. And so we want to go through all of this, but again, don't hesitate to submit questions anytime, and then we'll get those up at the end. So this is something that we all know and we all deal with in pretty much every day. The threat landscape has really changed over the last few years, and that is why solutions like our Accelops solution, and the reason why you guys bought in the first place, has been so valuable to you. You know, the whole idea behind it is you need this holistic network visibility. You didn't need this several years ago, but today you do. And so the value of a SIEM and being able to have a tool that can bring all of this together is absolutely critical for most organizations. The way Accelops really is so much better than so many other organizations out there is it's the leading tool that brings together SIEM and the performance availability monitoring and the change management all together in a single tool. Is very unique. So I know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, and this is the reasons you guys picked Accelops, or some of the reasons you guys picked Accelops in the first place, but wanted to kind of go through some of these key differentiators as kind of a backdrop for why we feel like some additional options were needed. You know, our system that you bought is the only NOC and SOC solution in that single pane of glass, bringing all of that together. So you get that holistic view of the entire organization, and for some of our MSP customers, they get that across all of their individual clients as well, or you can just do it across the organization. So you get also that real-time correlation of security and network threats, which of course means rapid identification, that triage, and even the prevention of future things, because you're kind of seeing things as they're developing, all due to that correlation and normalization. You bought the most powerful automated device discovery engine that's out there, and we're very proud of it. And especially, you know, some of the self-learning and the real-time change management database elements of it. It really is one of the most powerful elements of the software and in the industry as a whole. You get the benefit of the Threat Intelligence Center, where you can get continual updates on threat data from millions of devices across the world, and how that can all feed into your system and get the benefit of that. Some of you may not even be aware that that's available now, one of the more newer features. The full multi-tenant architecture, so for organizations that are either large and have different groups or sub-organizations within your organization that need to be able to manage or monitor or review or report on the devices in their system. It's all possible through our software. but at the same time, for our managed service provider clients, they get the benefit of that, being able to have multiple organizations in it without, cross-pollinating or, having data seep from one organization to another. So all that segmentation is in place as well. So just from the backdrop, you guys are already aware of these things and why you chose Accelops in the first place. And that's great. But what a lot of our clients have come to us with is what we are calling the realization that tools are not full and complete solutions. Accelops is the best tool out on the marketplace to do all of these things. But just like, a firefighter might have a helmet and an axe and a hose, those are just tools. And without, being able to have the personnel and the expertise and the training and the experience to use these tools and to properly know how to effectively use them in a real life environment, it can become challenging for a lot of our clients to get all of the value out of the system that they were hoping to get. So this is what we've been hearing from clients and wanted to address for you guys and giving you new options in the ways to handle this. So, in getting all of the value out of the Accelops system, the more valuable a system is, oftentimes the more complicated it is, or the more challenging it can become to get all of that value out. You have to be able to configure it properly. You've got to be able to tune it. And tuning is not just a one-time thing. It's a continual process because network environments changes, devices change, just the use of the network and devices change. So you got to tune the system ongoing as well. The Accelops system has to be maintained and upgraded, with the newest releases as we're continually releasing new features, new functionality, and new versions of the software that are coming out. It needs to be managed by trained experts. You want to have the people that know how to use these systems, configure, and make sure that they're set up properly. You want to be able to monitor the events and the and everything that's coming out of the system to make sure that you can respond appropriately to your devices in your environment. So you need to be able to have cybersecurity professionals that can understand the events and alerts, be able to respond to them and help them. And of course, compliance is hitting more and more organizations all the time. In fact, it's very rare that we even find a business that doesn't have some compliance requirement. And more, we have organizations that have to comply with 2, 3, or 4 different regulatory compliance mandates. There was an organization we were talking to just the other day that was healthcare combined with the fact that they take credit cards, so they were not only HIPAA and high tech, but also PCI, and then they even had a financial piece. So there was some GLBA, Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, that was combined in it too. So compliance is getting more and more challenging. So Accelops is built and designed to help you solve all of these challenges, but unless you have the expertise and the personnel and everything in order to get this value out of the system, it can become challenging. We've heard this from organizations that it can become challenging. So to look at this in another way too, we have organizations that say, listen, I have all of this need. I want and need a SIEM expert. I need hosting expertise. I need a compliance expert. I need cybersecurity expertise. But the realities of it are it's very difficult to achieve economies of scale when you're doing this yourself. You, of course, want to, and that's great. But to have all of this, in reality, some organizations don't want to and don't choose to hire a compliance expert where they only need 10% of that person's time. So either it's so important to the business that they have to hire somebody and pay for the expense of that whole person all of the time, or they choose to not hire them and either bring in consultants that are very expensive, or just choose to not hire them at all and live without them. A platform expert, you might need this for your for the Accelops, the way that you're hosting it, the underlying platform itself. maybe you don't need somebody full-time to do that. Maybe they have other responsibilities in the organization, and that's great. But for many, they don't want to hire somebody just for that one role and spend 100% on that person where they're only utilizing half of their time. The SIEM expert, same thing. Maybe the management and maintenance of the system requires 30% of somebody's time, but you have to hire somebody, and pay that entire expense. One of the bigger issues actually is the cybersecurity experts. These people are hard to find. You need them, but you either can't find them or you expensive people out there. In fact, to further illustrate this, because this is one of the biggest problems that we hear from our clients is, hey, they've got Accelops, they love it, they love the platform and the value it brings, but they need somebody to be able to run it. They need somebody to be able to get the alerts and the notifications out of it and respond to it, and they can't find these people, or they're super expensive. On average, the cybersecurity personnel are $116,000. Now that's across all levels. So you might have a tier 1 person that's $60,000 or $80,000, but a lot of organizations, they want to be able to really be monitoring for these high security events and need like a tier 3 security person, which can run $150,000, $180,000, $200,000 a year. So they're very, very expensive people. Not only are they expensive, they're just incredibly hard to find. There's a less than 2% unemployment rate for cybersecurity professionals in the United States. So they're hard to find, and when you do find them, oftentimes they can walk out the door. They get additional training. They, get offered 30% more at another company, and they leave. So even when you do find them, they're kind of hard to keep. A lot of our customers talk about the revolving door of cybersecurity professionals and the fact that they finally find somebody, they like them, and then they leave. And this isn't a new challenge. This has actually been the same challenge for the last 4 years. The #1 cited area for the biggest shortfall in IT is information security personnel. And Frost & Sullivan has even forecasted like a shortfall of 1.5 million trained security experts by 2020. So this is not only a problem today, but it's a growing problem. It's something that's becoming even bigger over time. So what we're finding is our clients are struggling with what I like to kind of look at as the tug of war between what you want and really what you need in order to get all of the value out of the system and all the things that you really want to do with it. So what we hear from our clients that they want is inexpensive IT. They want it to be simple and easy. But as I said before, the more valuable a tool is, oftentimes the more complex it might be to get all of that value out. So what you really need in order to get all of the value out is the rule tuning and that false positive reduction to make sure you're not having the IT guys run around with like chickens with their heads cut off, like searching for things that aren't even real. You need that high quality alert coming out of it. You need that platform management, deep analysis of events and things that are coming out of the system, that correlation, that maintenance of the system, including upgrades, monitoring of the system, as events are happening all day, every day. The reporting, whether this be for internal reasons, for audits, for compliance, you need to be able to generate the reports that are needed and when they're needed for the particular purpose. Of course, compliance itself and helping with, when that auditor is sitting down, that compliance officer, that examiner is sitting there, and you need to be able to generate artifacts, generate reports and evidence of certain things that are occurring in the system. Audit help. A lot of our clients will want help while an audit is happening to make sure that all of this can be generated. And then, of course, cybersecurity assistance, like being able to call somebody when something's happening so you don't have to feel like, oh gosh, I don't know what this alert is telling me. I don't know how to respond to it. I don't know what to do from here. Being able to reach out to somebody and be able to get that level of assistance. So we're finding this, this tug of war between this, what our clients really want with being simple and easy, and what you need in order to get all of it out, which is, a lot of this stuff done. And the other thing that we see with our clients all of the time is, you guys have many more strategic things to do than just managing a SIEM and watching events all day. There's a lot of strategic and tactical elements to your business that you're being asked to do, and yet, you're still feel obligated to make sure this system is up and running and tuned, and you're responding to alerts and events, and you certainly don't want to not do that. That's how breaches happen, like the Target breach. But at the same time, you're pulled in all these other areas to either put out fires or to work on strategic projects. And so this becomes kind of, unfortunately, what we've seen many times is that these systems kind of get put on the back burner, or they are not followed up with, or not maintained, or not responded to, or not monitored properly. And that could be a problem for organizations. So what we want to just tell all of our clients, everybody who's bought this amazing software that we've developed, is that we hear you. And we now have options for you to help with this if you so choose. For Accelops clients that have on-premise deployments, so you've already bought the software, and most everybody on this call has already bought our software and has deployed it locally, that's great. We can actually do Accelops management for you. We can actually manage and maintain that on-premise instance for you, and then also offer you SOC-as-a-Service, or a Security Operations Center virtual, essentially, for your organization, so you don't have to have that kind of assistance inside. You don't have to have that security expertise on staff if you want to use ours. And at the same time, if you are an organization that's tired of hosting these tools, then that's great. We could actually do it, and we've got now what's called the Accelops Cloud, which is a hosted version of Accelops that is available to our clients as well, where we maintain the whole platform, the infrastructure, we manage all of the storage and bandwidth and all of that, but still get all of those same benefits with the management and those SOC-as-a-Service options. So I want to talk a little bit more about this, because this is the way that we're trying to respond to our clients and making sure that we can help you guys get all of the value out of the system that you guys have bought. So the on-premise SIEM management services include, so this again is when you've got your own instance of Accelops at your premise or in your data center, we can do the full platform management of that. We can make sure that the Accelops system is running properly, up to date, and that includes the upgrades to the system as they come out. We will make sure that the system and all the new features and enhancements get applied to your instance of it. We customize the rule set for you, for your environment. So no longer is it like a one-time professional services set it and we walk away and you're responsible for it. We can do it ongoing, which is absolutely critical to make sure the false positives are dialed down so that you're getting high-quality events and alerts out of the system. We can also customize the rule with what we call enrichment. And what we mean by this is that we actually go into each rule and we can embed inside the rule remediation assistance. So if you don't have cybersecurity professionals in-house, you just have IT folks, sometimes it's very useful to get some additional assistance on steps on what to do when this alert occurs or when this event gets triggered. You could, it might say follow these 5 steps, or it might say, click on this wiki article or this knowledge base article that tells you more about it and what you need to do. So we can enrich those alerts and events for you to make sure that that whoever gets that alert or ticket on the other end of it knows how to respond to it. Another thing we do is we customize the rule, or we do the ongoing rule tuning. So it's not a one-time rule set, but it's ongoing. Every time a new rule comes out, new rules get added to the system all the time, as you guys know. We will tune those rules for you as they come. We will make sure the false positives are dialed down. Our goal is to make sure that any alert that comes out of the system is an actionable alert. It's something you actually need to respond to. So if you've been getting a lot of false positives, or maybe you've been missing a rule set that is not quite tuned right or configured properly, we can take that burden on, we can take that challenge, and we can do that for you again, customized to your specific environments. We can do all of the device discovery validation for you to make sure that if it's not managed and maintained properly, it can get unruly over time, and so it takes maintenance, it takes this ongoing care and feeding, and we can do that care and feeding for you and on your behalf. We can help you guys with the device onboarding to make it a smoother process so everything within the system is configured properly when it enters in, and make sure that the events and alerts are occurring on these new devices. We can create the customized dashboards, the customized reports, and all of the alert notifications that you need. We can customize the alert by each individual rule. If you have a different set of rules or an individual rule that needs to go to a different group or a different person than somebody else, we will customize all of that for you. We will also configure the threat feed configuration and correlate the threat feed data that we can bring into the system with all of your data to get even more high quality events and alerts out of the system. And we're also making ourselves available to you for audit and exam support and all of the compliance assistance that you need. So if you're sitting in front of your compliance officer or an auditor or a regulator or something like that, and they say, you know, present evidence or report that shows this and this and this happened over the last 12 months or last 3 months or whatever it might be, we can be there by your side virtually and help develop all of those, or go off and pull those reports, get that evidence, you know, look at a particular incident if they want to do. We can be your audit exam support to help with anything that is related to the Accelops platform. And then, of course, we can do the automated alerting and notification as well. So this includes, our SIEM management includes automated alerting and notification. So we can just send you all of the alerts. But also, we can be the ones that get those alerts and analyze those as well. So as I talked about before briefly, we have our SOC-as-a-Service offering. So this is our Accelops has built out a security operations center, and we have we can do the monitoring of your device events for you. You know, it's kind of interesting. One of the clients came to us and said, hey, this is great. I've got a security guy. He's really bright. My only problem is he wants to take vacation time, and he wants to leave on the weekends, and he wants to leave at night, and he gets sick from time to time. You know, how do we, you know, we don't want to hire a whole team of guys to come and just monitor this stuff, you know, because one guy isn't going to be there all the time. So we can take on that burden for you. We can do a SOC-as-a-Service option to have us be doing the monitoring of all of the events and things that are coming out of your system. There's a number of levels of monitoring that you can subscribe to, so we can get into more detail if you're interested in this option. But we can do it. But at a high level, there's a compliance review option, which is specifically designed to help meet like PCI for the retail, HIPAA for healthcare and high tech, you know, and then even like FFIEC requirements around, you know, for financials and GLBA. So it's designed for that. It includes our cybersecurity professionals reviewing these security events on your behalf. We can do it, you know, 365 days a year. What we're really focusing on is reviewing the things that can't be automated. So obviously we're going to design the system and configure it to send automated alerts whenever it can, which is usually the case. But there are some times where critical and high events can't be automated. Like, for example, you might get a huge number of medium events that in aggregate should be a critical event or a high event, and therefore you want somebody to review that, decide if it's a false positive, and then escalate it as needed. So we can do all of that for you. We can do that review of these security events that are happening daily, and then also act as your Tier 3 cybersecurity escalation support. So we're there for you if you want help with anything, a forensic incident, if you're just need to understand a ticket, understand an alert that's coming out of the system, want us to help you with something around remediation, we're here for you to do that. So all of that is around the compliance view. We feel like this is going to be the most popular option because it does meet so many compliance requirements. But there are those that need to have even a higher level of monitoring, which is really the same level of interaction. It's just more frequent, where you can have a 30-minute SLA on those critical and high security events 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So if you're an organization that needs that higher level of response for the things that can't be automated, you want that 30-minute SLA, we can provide that to you as well. So those two levels of SOC-as-a-Service monitoring are available, the compliance review and then the premium monitoring, which is, the premium monitoring is a little bit more what you expect from like an eyeballs on screen, kind of all the time SOC. Now, we also talked about how we have released the Accelops Cloud, how we have built out in Amazon and AWS a platform of our software that our clients can use instead of having to build out their own platform themselves. So, for many of you, I think most of everybody on this call has already built out their own, so that's fine. But if you're ever tired of hosting, we can do the hosting for you. If you find that that's too big of a challenge or too big of a burden, we can take that on. But also for organizations that are new to Accelops, that were newly signing up, they now have the option of either bringing it in-house or they can use our hosted version in AWS. There are 3 levels of that service. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because this call is mostly for existing clients of ours, but we do have a SIEM Basic, which is really a do-it-yourself model, but we're going to host it. We're going to keep the system upgraded, but everything else needs to be done by the individual organization. There's a SIEM Plus, which is a step above that, and then a SIEM Pro. And in fact, I'm going to just go to the next slide, which gives a breakdown here, and I'm just going to let everybody kind of read through this. I'm not going to go through it line by line, but you can see there that on the basic, we do the basic platform hosting and we do the backups, and we'll keep the system upgraded. We'll set up a single organization and a single user and just kind of send you on your way. And you can, if you have the expertise and if you've got the skill set in-house, you can just run with it. Very low cost service. The next level up, Plus, is where we kind of the equivalent of the professional services engagements that we've done for many of you, many of our clients, where we will set it all up, we will configure the users and the organizations and do more of like a one-time setup. There's some things that are ongoing, but it's more about getting you started and getting the training wheels on and getting you going that way. So it includes the automatic threat feed, setting that up, getting the branding set up, monitoring for licensing and storage, setting up the role-based access control, all the collector registration, and setting up a one-time pre-tuned rules matrix and report. So we will set up the rules for you like as a one-time, but then the expectation is that you would manage and maintain those rules ongoing. And then, of course, the pro level is, hey, we're doing the whole thing for you. It's going to include all of that training and incident management policies and collector configuration, and you can go through the whole list there, but it's everything. So you don't have to have any SIEM or Accelops expertise in-house. We can do all of that for you. All you need to do is have the IT personnel to actually respond to the events and things that are coming out of the system. And then, of course, you can see at the bottom the availability on the Pro with the security and compliance monitoring, or those premium monitoring services that we talked about. So all of that's available with the Pro. So we didn't want to spend a lot of time today. We know that you guys are super busy. That's one of the things that we're trying to solve. So we didn't want to take a ton of time, but wanted to just make this announcement to all of you to make sure that you know that these options are now available to you, that now you can rely on us, rely on Accelops to not just give you the world's best SIEM software, but to also help configure it, manage it, maintain it, and monitor it ongoing as well. So with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions anybody has. You can type in those questions, because I think all of the, everybody's lines are still muted. So if you want to submit a question, I'd be happy to answer those anytime. I'm actually just going to look at those myself right now so I can answer them. Hopefully I can do that. My screen is a little bit small in this. So the first question sounds like, can you elaborate on the threat intelligence feature? So yeah, the Accelops software now has the ability to ingest threat intelligence feeds, and there are a number of feeds that you can configure within the system itself, and these are, for example, and there's lots of feeds out in the world and on the internet that you can bring into the system. Some of them are free, some of them you have to pay for, not Accelops, but whoever you're getting the feeds from. But they're great because, like, for example, some might be a blacklist of IP addresses or networks or segments or domains that are known to be malicious or known to have command and control with malware or anything like that. And so this is now a feature that is built into Accelops. Doesn't cost any more to have the feature. You just have to get the feed built in. We have a number of feeds that are free that in our managed version of the platform we configure for our clients. So it's something, if you have it yourself, you can try to do that. But I forget the version of Accelops that includes that. We could certainly get you that information to make sure yours has, but if you upgrade to the latest version, the last several have had that all in it. So hopefully that's that question. Just to confirm, somebody asked the question whether I really did say that that we can now manage an on-premise instance of Accelops, and yes, that is what we're saying. We can, we can now manage your on-premise version of Accelops. We can also we do the Accelops in the cloud too for those that don't want to manage it, but we didn't want to just only offer all of these benefits to clients that use the cloud. We wanted to be able to do this on behalf of clients that have built out their own instance. So we absolutely can do that for organizations that have built out Accelops. Let's see. This next question is, on-premise SIEM management service, is there training or knowledge bases available with this information? Seems like something that should, sorry, I'm having to scroll here, should be shared for those that have resources to manage the system but not able to be utilized, the system being obtained by all AO customers. On-premise SIEM management. I'm not exactly sure what this user is asking regarding the specific SIEM management service. What I would ask is, if you wouldn't mind sending us an email with a little bit more detail on the question, I could definitely see if I can answer it or get you the information that you're looking for on that. Sorry, I'm not more help on this. Going down. Oh, that's all of the questions. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to submit them now. I'd be happy to answer them.
Hey, Kevin, this is Eric. I actually had a couple of questions submitted to me that you could probably field.
Please.
The first question was one of the attendees that says there's several versions behind on their in-house Accelops, and if this service can this service help them get to the current version as part of like taking over the management?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the biggest values that we can bring with this service. So if you are several versions behind, by signing up for the on-premise management, one of the first things we would do is work through a upgrade process to make sure that your system gets up to the latest version. This is assuming that you have active licenses with Accelops and can get the software. So I guess I'm assuming that, but the whole purpose of the management and maintenance of the platform is to make sure you're getting all of the latest benefits in terms of bug fixes, as well as all the enhancements and things that have come out in whatever version that you're on. So we would work with you to get up to that version. So yes, it's important for that.
Great.
Did you say there were other questions?
Yep. The second question I got was how long does it typically take to turn premise management?
You know, from the time a contract is signed, we would immediately engage with your organization. You know, it probably, there's usually a couple of weeks of discovery and configuration and tuning. We, of course, do this with your help. We don't just take over and say, hey, we don't need you anymore. It's very collaborative because, you know, rule sets and devices and all of that are very specific to your organization, and we want to make sure that we're tuning it properly. So, but it would be pretty quick. I mean, from the time a contract was signed, we would probably have systems upgraded and tuned within a matter of a few weeks.
Great. That's the only questions I had.
Let me see if any others have come in here. All right. Well, fantastic. Again, we didn't want to take too much of your guys' time today, but one quick note, if you are interested in this service, you're just learning more about it and what your options are and what costs might be or any of that kind of stuff, please reach out to your Accelops sales rep, and they can get some more information to you. If you're interested, we'd be more than happy to get on an individual call with you. I myself can get on, or Eric can get on, and talk with you about it in depth and make sure you get all of your questions answered, any pricing, feature functionality kind of questions answered. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. We're just we're really excited to be able to help clients through what is sometimes a challenge when it comes to you know, getting all the value out of a SIEM like this. So we're really excited to offer it to you guys. So that's it. Appreciate your guys' time today. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you.